Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode on the Powered by Iron Health podcast. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about physical therapy specific and the future of physical therapy. Been in this field 10 years. It's ever changing. I'm just going to state it out to the world of where I see it going. So before we dive into that, if you don't follow our page, please give us a follow. We're trying to get more knowledge out to people who are PTs, who want to be PTs, or who have injuries. We're trying to be an educational platform for people with injuries to learn how to manage them themselves and just get better. So thanks for that. So we're going to start with my first clinical rotation when I was in PT school. And pretty much the way that works is when you're in PT school, you do 8 weeks to 12 weeks out in the field learning. I think you learn the most in the field, but besides that, my first one, I was at what we traditionally call like a factory. What do I mean by that? They would have a small facility, maybe not even 2,000 square feet, with 5 or 6 tables, treatment tables. And the whole premise would be the treatment tables are always full. So what you would do is you would see 4 to 5 people every hour. So appointments are booked back to back to back to back. Now, from a business standpoint, if that's your main priority, sure, that's good. You're going to be billing a lot, making the revenue. From a care perspective, it's not necessarily top-notch care. You're putting people on the table and then off the table in the same consistent flow that they've always been doing. So that's the reality there. Now, I remember being in this clinic. I was like, damn, this is what PT is. This is what I'm getting myself into. It's not going to be a route where I actually get to spend time with my clients. I'm going to have to make sure I'm seeing 5 people, watching one do an exercise there, another one over there. At the same time, I have to go back into the office and write documentation for each of them. Like, is that going to be accurate? Probably not. It's going to be the same fluff that I'm writing consistently. So when I first did that, I was like, damn, this is really what my future is going to look like. And it was an interesting concept. Like, this is what it may look like when I go out into the field. So having that smack in the face of like, hey, PT, you get sold this dream of getting outcomes and helping people, and then you go into an outpatient clinic and it's completely different. So I was hoping that wasn't the way it was, but that was my first experience. From there, luckily, I had another experience which is similar to our model at Iron Health, where it's one-on-one care. Now, with that model, you have to get people to buy in, right? People have to believe that they're going to get better. It's the most important part. It's not a traditional mill. You don't take every insurance. You're valuing quality over quantity. And luckily for us, we'll dive into specific it works, and we'll talk more about that. But something with the PT profession as a whole, I was talking to someone the other day. The last 2 years, we lost about 30,000 professionals. 30,000 physical therapists have left the profession. That's a crazy number. And some of them, again, they're not using that degree. They left the profession, whether they're in finance, whether they're teaching, whether they're in a completely different thing, went back to school. It's crazy that our profession right now was on a high so well, and now people are leaving in drones. And I think personally that's because of the burnout. I think there's a burnout caliber where people are seeing too many people, writing too many notes, and they're not being able to commit to their craft because it's just numbers, numbers, numbers. It's a sad, sad truth of what's happening around. We also used to have something. I remember when I was at PT school, they used to pitch this to us, a Vision 2020. It's like, hey, PTs at one point was a master's degree, then I went to a doctoral degree, and they said, with the doctoral degree, you're going to be able to see people right away. They have an injury, they come right to you, you're able to help them. We're going to be able to be the new primary care practitioners. They said Vision 2020, by year 2020, this is going to happen. So 2023, here we are, nothing really changed. It's the sad truth of it. And one thought I had was, how do we make that change? It has to come from us. We have to be the ones that are consistently pushing our field forward to have that autonomy, to be the ones who people come and see when they have an injury right away. It should be us. That's the reality. So Vision 2020, I'm sure now is Vision 2030, but it has to stem from us on the inside. The field is always changing. 30,000 people left. Hopefully more people go into the field. People need this, but we need a global shift completely. So I see two futures really with the way PT is going to be going. And the one you have over here is the big medical future. And it happened to medical doctors. Like, you really don't see solo medical doctors anymore. They all got bought up by big hospitals because they couldn't survive. They couldn't negotiate with insurances. People wouldn't pay out of pocket for them. The back end work was getting too heavy, so they would just sell their book of business to a big group and they get controlled in the back end by them. And that's happening a lot, a lot, a lot. Wherever you live, I'm sure you've seen a hospital get turned over to a bigger group within the last 5-10 years. And that's going to continue to happen because in the medical field, there is a lot of money to be made. So once you start to see that, big businesses do get involved, and they're looking at it just like they look at a P&L statement or a profit and loss statement. That's what it looks like to them. And their eyes are on that consistently. That care is going to continue, I personally think, on a downslide. It's going to be harder to get appointments. When you get appointments, no one's going to care about you. It's going to be like the DMV. You ever go to the DMV and have a great experience? I haven't heard that ever. It's going to be the same concept. You're going to have these big groups. It's called the big DMV of healthcare. And they're going to keep growing. And on the other side, you're going to start to have concierge medicine. It's kind of what Iron Health falls into, where you sometimes may have to come out of your pocket to pay. You're going to get better individualized care. They're going to have other services to offer you, and it's going to be more holistic in approach. It's not going to be, hey, I see the joint, let's just fix that. It's like, no, your body's got to be fixed here, here, and here. You're going to have this divide of the concierge and the big medical group in the future. And for PT specific, where that's going to go is us as PTs, we need to be the ones who are leading the front for all health and wellness for the body, anything orthopedically, whether it's personal training, whether it's services like sauna and cold plunging, other auxiliary services, acupuncture, massage. We're going to have to, as a profession, understand the multimodal approach to wellness, because we should be the front runners of wellness from an orthopedic side. Now, how does that happen? That has to happen with us believing in that. That has to happen with us working in facilities that are doing that and spearheading the way, because there needs to be more power behind it. There needs to be more growth behind it. There needs to be more people on board about it. Because if it's not, then it's just not going to go anywhere. So those are going to be the future for PT. You want to be holistic, full wellness, or you want to be in the big business side of things. I'll choose holistic all day. You want to truly help people, or to truly make a difference and raise the standard, go holistic. If you really believe in this message, share it. Share it to anyone who's interested in physical therapy or the health field in general to understand where it's going. We got to be ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching.